Hello and welcome to the Front Office Podcast. I am your host, Marcus Cameron, and as always, the show is sponsored by Tees and Trees Clothing. Tees and Trees is where we stand on business. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're viewing the show, man. We appreciate you. If you're a subscriber and been a subscriber, from the bottom of our hearts, we definitely appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, please click the like and subscribe button. Share if you want, comment if you disagree. Y'all know how it goes, man. Very good weekend of sports this weekend. Very interesting. We're going to start with the WNBA because they actually have playoff games today. We're in the Final Four. We got the Liberty versus the Aces, and we got the Connecticut Sun versus the Minnesota Lynx. In that first game, right now, the Liberty up 1-0. First game happened on Sunday. Breanna Stewart, amazing game. Ionescu, incredibly efficient from the field. They had a lot of help as far as their role players are concerned. Jonquel Jones, 13 points, 12 rebounds, double-double. She was mainly responsible for guarding A'ja Wilson, who is the league's MVP, best player in the WNBA. Held it about 16 points. I think she had like 21. 21 and a double-double. Normal stats for A'ja, but it wasn't easy, and I thought Jones's length kind of threw her off. Breanna Stewart had a really big game. 31 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Excuse me. And they really sped them up. I thought the difference in the game was Chelsea Gray. Chelsea Gray for the Aces is a difference maker. She is. She's an older player, been in the league a long time. Great player, great vision, real leader on that team. You can't play 26 minutes and get 4 points and one assist. She just can't do it. I think she was like 1 for 6 from the field or some shit like that. And New York is speeding her up. They're making her play faster. They're making her defend. They're putting her in a lot of pick and roll situations, and the Aces are going to have to adjust to that. Becky Hammon is going to have to make an adjustment. I think, honestly, Tiffany Hayes is going to have to be better for the Aces because she is the one who's actually able to push and keep up with that tempo. They're going to have to do a better job of staying in front of Sabrina Ionescu, and the Aces are going to need to get more help. Kelsey Plum had a really good game. Jackie Young, she was 6 for 16 from the field. She was out there. She was battling, playing defense, and I know it's a tough thing to play defense and try to score on the offensive end, but they're going to have to figure out how to get her going a little bit, maybe get her switched on to Ionescu in some one-on-one pick-and-roll situations and try to get somebody in foul trouble or just make them work on the other end because right now they're playing great team defense as they have all year. It's a great coaching move by their coach by putting Jonquel Jones on A'ja. I think Asia's going to have to be more decisive. If Jones is going to come out there and try to guard Wilson, I think Asia's going to have to mainly make her come out and play. She's prone to foul trouble. Get her up by the free throw line, close to the three-point line, spread it out, let her go one-on-one. Give her some pick and roll situations with Breanna Stewart, maybe get her in foul trouble. She had 4 fouls the first game. So the Aces are going to have to – I think that series is going to be dependent on who can impose their will on the game, and right now it's the Liberty. I like the Aces tonight, though. I like the Aces to win tonight. I like Becky Hammon. She's a great coach. I think she'll make the proper adjustments. I think the Aces will shoot it better as a team. I think Chelsea Gray will be better, and we'll see how it goes. In the other semifinal or Final Four game, series, I should say, we got the Connecticut Sun versus the Minnesota Lynx. Minnesota has been a great team all year. They've been very consistently top 3 team. They have the Defensive Player of the Year and Offensive Collier. They've got some really good role players, shooters. Alana Smith is a center who can spread the floor. She can shoot the 3, and she gets rebounds. She doesn't get rebounds when I pick on Prize Picks, but she is a good piece for them. I thought the Sun were just dominant defensively, and that's what they've been doing all year. Adding Mayberry to that team was a huge move for the GM. Whoever's the GM for the Connecticut Sun definitely needs to be getting some more credit than what she's getting, and the coach. Because having her and Carrington, I know their point guard went down with the injury, and that's why her and Carrington are playing a lot together, but that's a great combination. Carrington can score the ball, but not like Mabry. Mabry can play defense, but not like Carrington. And when you add both of those players in the same team, the same lineup, I think it causes problems. DeWanna Bonner had a horrible shooting night, horrible. But shout out to her, man, for sticking with it and really hitting some really big shots. I forget their. Oh my God, I can't believe her name is slipping my mind right now. But I forget her name. She plays power forward for the Sun. I'm sorry, y'all. It's early in the morning. My bad. She plays power forward. She hit some very big shots. I think she almost had a triple double. I think she missed it by like 1 assist. She knows how to win. She's not a huge scoring threat, but she is a big body. She's smart, high basketball IQ, very high basketball IQ. Very impressed with the way she closed that game out. And the Sun kind of stole one, honestly. And Minnesota, the pressure's on them now. You know, they're the higher seed. They were playing at home. You lost game 1. Now you got to try to come in and even the series, which I think they will. I like Minnesota tonight. I think Collier has a big game. I think the role players have an even bigger game. I think they'll shoot it better, and I think they'll try to keep better eye on Mabry. 20 points. I think she had like 5 rebounds, 5 assists or something like that. You got to get that under control because they don't have a lot of scoring options. So I don't think it's as hard to stop Connecticut, but you also have to rebound. DeWanna Bonner, as bad as she shot it, double-double. Carrington, double-double. And like I told you the lady before, I can't believe Alyssa Thomas, that's her name. She almost triple-double. So that's a big lift for that team. But great win by the Sun. But like I do like the Minnesota Lynx to win and tie up the series. I'd like both series to get tied up tonight, but we'll see how it goes. That's all I got on the WNBA. We're going to go to the NFL in a minute, but quick NBA news, trade update, big trade over the weekend. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks completed a very big trade right before Media Day. Karl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Now, Knicks fans, I know. Excuse me. Knicks fans, I know a lot of Knicks fans, and I've seen your comments. I've seen your comments on Facebook. I've seen your comments on Instagram, TikTok, every social media outlet, because social media allows people to be able to say whatever they want, no matter how dumb the shit sounds. This is not a bad trade for either team. It's not. It's a good money move for Minnesota because they're able to get Karl Anthony Towns off the books, bring in Randall, keep Naz Reid. You add Dante DiVincenzo, which is a great backup point guard option to Mike Conley. Nobody's looking at it that way. I do, because I thought that's where they kind of struggled last year. When Conley wasn't on the floor, I thought it was hard for Anthony Edwards to be able to create and operate because the defense is able to lock down on him. Now you can't because of a guy like DiVincenzo. You add Rob Dillinger from Kentucky, who's a shooter. Naz Reid, shooter. That makes them more explosive, and that Minnesota team looks extremely chunky with Julius Randle. Now, Julius Randle is a wild card. He is a guy that does have his moments where he thinks he's a point guard and shoots a lot of jump shots, and hopefully he doesn't take on that role in Minnesota. Hopefully it's let me be the Julius Randle who can play down low, be a force down here, rebounding, putbacks, getting the ball on the post, working that post game. And eventually, if you got it going, it's nothing wrong with shooting threes. That's just where the NBA is right now. But just like Karl Anthony Towns, it shouldn't be your main focus. Towns, on the other hand, going to the Knicks, is not as bad a move as I think a lot of people think. Number one, he does give you another scoring option, and he does spread the floor. It's not as condensed, and I think it's not so much traffic with him on the floor because he can go out to the corner and shoot a three. He can shoot a three from the top of the key. I think the big thing for him is going to be rebounding and playing for Tibbs, which he's done before. He's had some of his best years under Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau likes him, probably knows how to get the best out of him. It's a money market. It's a big market up there in New York. If he plays well, it's going to be a big payoff for Karl Anthony Towns. But that East is loaded. You're adding Paul George to the Sixers if they're healthy. Boston, NBA champions. Miami's still out there. You still got the Indiana Pacers, the Bucks with Dame and Giannis, and Chris Middleton. So the East is looking very good, very competitive. Like I said, I like the trade for both teams. I don't think either team lost in the trade. I thought the Knicks made a move that they thought they had to move. I don't like losing DiVincenzo. They're high on McBride. They're very high on McBride. They're very high on OG. And they got the guy from the Nets. I'm sorry, y'all. It's early in the morning, but you know who I'm talking about. And they kind of broke up that Villanova core, but that's fine. That's fine. I don't think that's a problem. I think Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks is good for the Knicks, and I think Randall and DiVincenzo going to Minnesota is good for them. How they play it and how the coaches, that's on them. But as far as just from a GM standpoint, I don't think it was a bad trade for either team. I don't think either team won or lost that trade. I think it was even. I think it was an even job and great job on both GMs, getting what their teams needed. Great job. But that's all we had on the NBA, man. The NFL season, week 4, just ended last night with 2 Monday night games. We had the Titans versus the Dolphins, and we had Seattle versus the Lions. So let's get into week 4. Week 4 in the NFL. Good week, a lot of upsets. Of course, we're going to start with the Minnesota Vikings. Can I get a skull? Yeah, for you non-Minnesota Vikings, that's our cheer. 4-0, man. Shout out to Sam Darnold. Played a great game in Green Bay. I thought that was a good test for Sam Darnold and our defense as well. I didn't like giving up the points in the second half, but it's hard to have a big lead and just keep that lead. I mean, you have to be more of a superior team. I think our running game is getting there. It's not all the way there. Aaron Jones had a great game. I like the Ty Chandler option as far as changing up. Getting Addison back was big. He had 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson was Justin Jefferson. And hopefully when we get Hockenson back, that offense will be clicking. Brian Flores, I definitely owe him an apology. I roasted him last year because our defense was shit, but they look good. They look great this year. He takes a lot of chances, a lot of blitzing. And I think just having the right players in the right position allows his concept or his way of playing defense to work. It looks effective. I believe we're top 5 in overall defense. So shout out to the Vikings, man. Top of the division, baby. 4-0. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Yeah, shout out to my Raider fans, man. Y'all got away with one. That was a horrible holding call against the offensive line of the Browns. That was a great pass. Amari Cooper touchdown. That kind of wins the game. Horrible call. But shout out to the Raiders. And they're even 2-2. The Chiefs keep winning. I think they stayed undefeated. They're 4-0. Big win against the Chargers. Indianapolis Colts with a big upset of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even though the Steelers played well in that second half, Joe Flacco comes in the first quarter, the ageless one, and carries them to a victory. Shout out to Joe Flacco. Shit. That's being able to that's the definition of staying ready, for sure. The Monday night games last night, Seattle game was good, high scoring event. Miami game was trash. They are just struggling. They got to get somebody in there. Their quarterback options are not it. They're struggling without Tua. You can see the frustration on the players' faces, and it's understandable. They want to support the guys, man, but everybody has a job to do. And if you're a receiver, your quarterback has got to get you the ball. He has absolutely got to get you the ball. If you're a Tyreek Hill, he was open a couple times, either underthrown or overthrown. McDaniel's going to have to find a way to figure that out down there in Miami because they're struggling. And I believe now down to a losing record, or maybe even 500. They might be at 500 right now. Dallas Cowboys win against the Giants on Thursday. Needed that. They play another big game this week. That was a good way for them to bounce back. The Atlanta Falcons, man, with a nice win at home against a division rival, the Saints. Came down to the wire. Field goal kicker ices it at the end, wins it for them. Kirk looked good. They definitely still haven't clicked all the way offensively. I wish they would get Bijan Robinson the ball more. He's on my fantasy team, and as of right now, he is not living up to that first-round pick. But the Falcons look good. They look decent. Tampa Bay, that's a big win for Tampa Bay in that division, so they're keeping pace. But the NFL, my personal thought on it is the first 4 games are great. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to talking about playoffs and things like that until you get to about week 8. Now, we got the Jets Sunday morning in London. I like us against the Jets. I do. I do. I like us against the Jets, man. So we'll see what happens. I'll try to get another episode out is before the end of the week. My kids got a big cross country meet in Greenville. I'm not sure if it's going to happen because of the hurricane. Shout out to people who still without power and still dealing with the hurricane. Prayers up to y'all, man. Help out any way you can. Again, my name is Marcus Cameron. This is the Front Office Podcast. And as always, the show is sponsored by Tees and Trees Clothing. Peace.